Welcome to lesson 1.1, What You Believe is What You Date. As I mentioned during the discovery call, this module, Getting Mentally Prepared to Date, is very, very powerful. And personally, I think it's the most important one of the course because the biggest thing that influences your love life is what you believe. And I'm not talking about the stuff that you say you believe. I'm talking about the deep-seated beliefs that you might not even be aware of. These are the ones that start whispering in the background when a good man shows up or when he doesn't. In this lesson, we're going to look at how the thoughts that you didn't even realize you're thinking can be shaping who you're drawn to, how you act, and even what kind of love you let in. You'll start to notice patterns, not just random ones, but ones that come from your thinking. And the best part, you can change those thoughts. You'll also find hidden beliefs that are holding you back. Those quiet little thoughts like, guys always leave, I'm too much, or a love like that isn't going to find me. We're going to pull those thoughts out from the root. Because if you don't change what you believe about love, men, yourself, you'll keep repeating the same dating patterns, even if the guy changes. You're also going to learn about 7 common mindsets that silently sabotage women in dating. I call them self-sabotaging mindsets. And chances are, at least one of them has been showing up in your journey. But don't worry, this is never about shaming you. It's about helping you step into your power. Now, I will also show you how to let go of old thoughts and start thinking in a way that matches the kind of love that you really want. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about the power of belief. Imagine a set of twins who are identical physically. They had the same upbringing, the same access to resources. Shoot, they even live in the same city and they have the exact same career. But when it comes to dating, they have entirely different experiences with men. So, why? Why is that the case? It's because the responses they get from men depends entirely on their mental state. And there is a direct correlation. And the same is true for you. Your dating experience will hinge on what you believe is possible and what you believe you deserve. You might say, I want a man who pursues me and makes me feel chosen. But if you secretly believe that you have to earn love or prove you're worth it, you will find yourself overgiving, chasing, or settling for breadcrumbs, hoping that effort will turn into commitment. Your beliefs affect your whole dating vibe, what you allow, what you expect, and how long you'll stay with someone who isn't right for you. So, what are limiting beliefs? A limiting belief is a thought that you have accepted as truth, but it actually limits you. And we know the truth sets you free. Okay? What those thoughts you believe about love affects what you hope for. It affects what you put up with. It affects what you think you deserve. If you believe that love is hard or people always leave, you might choose those things that match that, even if it makes you sad. These beliefs aren't always big. They're not always obvious. Sometimes they sound really smart or normal, but really they're like quiet little walls around your heart. Most of the time, we don't even know we have them. We just feel like dating is hard or dating makes us sad. And when we look closer, there's usually a hidden belief that is causing it. Let me give you a few examples of limiting beliefs I've heard from clients. Maybe I've even said myself in the past, okay? It looks like all the good men are taken, or men only want sex, or I'm just too much, or maybe the flip side, I'm not good enough. Strong women intimidate men. These beliefs keep you in survival mode. They'll have you guarded, second guessing yourself, or settling. And you attract what your nervous system is wired to expect. So, where do these beliefs come from? They usually don't start with you, okay? Sometimes the things that you believe about love were shaped early on by what you saw, what you didn't see, or what hurt you when you were young. Let's say if love growing up felt conditional, right? You had to do certain things. If it was unpredictable, you never knew what you were going to get, or it was just straight up unavailable, you might have internalized quiet beliefs like, I have to earn love. If I need too much, people will pull away, or I'm not worthy of being chosen. They often come from your childhood, like watching divorced parents have an emotionally distant father, or a mother who's constantly people pleasing just to keep the peace. Back then, your brain created these beliefs in order to protect you, but now they might be getting in the way of the love you truly desire. Another place the beliefs come from, messages from social media, friends, and society. They can teach you things like men are only after one thing, or good love is rare, or you have to be perfect to be loved. To avoid getting hurt again, your brain may form protective beliefs that sound logical, but unfortunately keep love out. So your brain will tell you things like, well, it's just safer not to get too close, or you're better off alone, or don't get your hopes up. This is why your beliefs really matter. If you don't change the thoughts in your head, you might keep dating the same kind of person over and over, even if they have a different name. The way that you see love affects how you act, who you trust, and how long you stay in situations that don't feel good. Even if you're saying and doing all the right things, people can feel what you believe. And if deep down you don't think love is safe, your energy will show it without you even saying a word. Now that we know what limiting beliefs are and why it matters, let's talk about how those beliefs can show up when you're dating. Sometimes, without even meaning to, we get in our own way. We say we want love, but the thoughts we carry make us act in ways that push it away. So I'm going to show you 7 common mindsets that do exactly that. And you might see yourself in one or a few, and that's okay. The good news is once you can see them, you can start to change them. Now, these mindsets are subtle. Sometimes they are even spiritual sounding, but they keep you out of alignment with the love you truly desire. And as I walk you through each one, I want you to listen for which ones resonate. You might have moved through a few of these in different seasons. Okay, you ready for the first one? First one is the fairy tale mindset. This is the belief that love should be effortless, magical, and instantaneous. The woman with this mindset dreams of the perfect love story, and she thinks, once I meet the right man, I won't have to do much work. It'll just work. She expects instant sparks, perfect alignment, and effort-free love. She gets discouraged when a relationship takes real work or brings up emotional discomfort, and she thinks, well, maybe he's just not the one. This mindset causes her to quit too soon or chase the high instead of the depth. This mindset will set her up to crave intensity instead of intimacy. She's going to overlook good men who don't come in a shiny package or guys who require a little bit of emotional maturity. She stays stuck in unrealistic expectations and misses out on real, lasting love. Next mindset. Does this one sound familiar? I don't want to cater to men. Okay? This is when you feel tired or you're upset about dating and you think, why should I have to grow or change just to be with someone? I should have to do all that. And that's real. Maybe you felt hurt or unseen before, but here's the truth. Men have to work hard too. And they're expected to be strong, successful, kind, attractive, confident, and in control of their feelings. Not to mention that most of us women want the 3 6s, okay? We want them over 6 feet tall. We want them to have a 6-pack and packing more than 6 inches. You know what I mean, okay? And 2 of those 3 things, they have zero control over. So they've got a lot they have to go through too. It's not just one-sided. Healthy love isn't about one person doing all the work. It takes both people showing up and doing the work together. So, how does she sabotage herself with this mindset? Well, she might show up guarded, sharp, ready to prove a point. She doesn't let anyone get close because she already expects to be disappointed. She protects herself, but only in a way that keeps a real connection out. When your heart is closed, it's hard to build something real. And good men can feel that wall, and they don't know how to get past it. Instead of feeling chosen, you're going to feel alone, even when someone is trying. Next mindset, it's the fixer mindset. Look at her all cute in her little overalls, ready to fix it. This is where you believe your love can change a man. You see his good side and you think, if I stick around and I love him enough, he'll become the man I need. That's not how love works. People only change when they decide to. So what happens is you'll notice things feel off and you'll start to explain them away. Maybe he's not showing up in the way that you want, but instead you focus on what could be instead of what is. You'll keep hoping that he'll change even when he shows you who he is. After a while, you feel tired. You're giving up so much, but you're not getting back. You might feel like he doesn't see your worth or like you're the only one who's trying. And deep down inside, you know this version of love isn't fair to you. Next up is the victim mindset. This one sounds like, men always hurt me, dating is hopeless, or it's just not in the cards for me. You start dating with a chip on your shoulder. You're very pessimistic. And while your pain is valid, this mindset only creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because when you expect the worst, you start acting like it's already true, and that can push away a good thing or make healthy love feel uncomfortable. So, what is the end result? You repel potentially great partners because they're turned off by your negative disposition. So, what is the solution? Let's reframe how you've been looking at dating, because a lot of women are approaching it with a mindset that's constantly setting them up for disappointment. So here's an analogy I like to use. Dating is a lot like playing the lottery, and most lottery players know the odds. They hope to win, but they don't expect to win every single time, okay? They don't buy a ticket and then call their boss, quit their job because they're so sure that this is it. They understand you have to play to win. And you'll probably lose more times than you win. The key is to stay in the game with realistic expectations. Here's the kicker. When they lose, they don't spiral into despair. They don't say, well, I guess I'm not worthy of winning. They don't take it personally. They don't vow to never play again. They just shrug and say, well, that's how it goes. And they move on. But women in dating, we meet one man, have one great date, and suddenly we are mentally planning the wedding, naming our kids, retiring our single status. And when it doesn't work out, when he pulls away or reveals who he is, we feel crushed. Like love just isn't in the cards for us. But here's the truth. You're not failing at dating. You're just placing too much hope in each ticket. You're investing your emotions like this one man is supposed to be your jackpot, even before he's earned your trust. And that, right there, is the victim mindset. Because victims wait, they wish, and they gamble. Powerful women, they play the game with strategy. They don't get attached to every outcome. They stay in motion. They vet, they learn, and they keep showing up. Not from desperation, but from alignment. So the next time you go on a date, don't put your whole heart into the ticket. Stay grounded, stay curious, and remember, you're not here to hope for love. You're here to choose it wisely. All right, let's move on to the next self-sabotaging mindset. This is the prove it mindset. She believes she has to earn a man's love. She overfunctions, she overinitiates, she shrinks her needs. She believes that if she is perfect enough, he will choose her. I want you to imagine for a moment having a flawless 4-carat diamond, and you put it up for sale, and someone offers you $5 for it. You wouldn't start haggling with the person, right? You'd be insulted or might even laugh at their ignorance. You wouldn't start to doubt the value of the diamond. You'd wait until a buyer came around who made a decent offer. The problem is that some of you don't see yourself as a rare gem. You see yourself as like the plastic ring that came in the prize box of a Cracker Jack box. Kind of aging myself with that example. The issue isn't how men view you. The issue starts with how you view yourself. Healthy love isn't about proving that you're worthy. It's about believing that you already are and choosing someone who reflects that back to you. So if you have the prove it mindset, you'll feel resentful of men and you still won't be chosen. Next up is the perfect man fantasy mindset. This mindset causes you to say, my perfect guy, or rather my future guy, has to be perfect. He has to look a certain way, talk a certain way, have the perfect job, and never mess up. But here's the truth. Nobody's perfect. Not even you, sister girl. And real love isn't a checklist. When a man says or does one little thing that feels off, you cut him off fast. Maybe he's kind and fun and honest, but because he's not exactly what you pictured, you say, no, thank you. So sometimes you'll miss out on really great people by focusing too much on the little stuff. You keep waiting for this perfect guy to show up, someone who never makes mistakes, someone who always knows what to say. But that guy, hate to tell you, doesn't exist. Real love is built, not found in a fantasy. All right, our last mindset is the fear-based mindset. This one tells you, if I speak up, I'll push him away. So, what does this woman do? She hides her feelings. She lowers her standards. She settles. She's afraid that if she asks for more, she will end up alone. But shrinking herself won't bring her closer to love. It only delays the rejection, or worse, keeps her in a relationship where her needs are never met. So let's pause here. If you haven't done so already, please download the lesson for this worksheet entitled Belief, Reframe, Practice. Which of these mindsets do you recognize in yourself? Like I said, you might have more than one, but be honest, not judgmental with yourself. This is about awareness, never shame. All right, let's walk through an example. The old belief would be all the good men are taken. The new belief would be emotionally available men exist, and I'm becoming a woman who not only recognizes them, but attracts them. The aligned action you want to take: stop entertaining emotionally unavailable men, no matter how cute they are, no matter how charming, and if their beard connects. Every belief shift needs to have an action shift. You can't just say, I'm going to think differently. You have to start moving differently. Now, after you finish that worksheet, go ahead to lesson 1.2. I'll see you there.